Hey, 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 it is Friday, October 24th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective, we're trying to figure out this thing called life. We want to produce businesses that work for us versus us working for it. We want to take care of our families. We want to take care of our team, our community. We want to create the type of lifestyle that I'm going to say is the American dream, the mom and pop businesses that built this country, that I think are the foundation of this country. And a lot of the reason why not a lot of people want to be a Fortune 500 company, right? They want to have this great small business that provides for them and their family, right? And gives back to the community, and they can grow a big enough team to allow them to enjoy their family and enjoy their lives. So I'm passionate about that. The hoi polloi, the common man, the small school owner, you are my passion and purpose because you need me the most. And I think in many ways I need you. I cut my teeth on my grandma's restaurants, pushing a broom. I grew up in my dad's martial arts school. I've owned small businesses my whole life, and they've allowed me a lifestyle that I believe for me is unequaled. Cool. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors, Tusa. To me, I've had relationships with them since the 90s. My dad was one of their first clients. They're a great martial arts supplier. They're good people. And, I mean, like anything, you got to take the good with the bad. And I know where I see stuff, shipping's too much. They messed up my order. I can promise you at Tusa, no matter what happens within their control and beyond it, they will make good on everything. Market Muscles, I believe he's adding a lot of new AI elements. What Stephen does, a lot of it's not tangible. I was having this conversation before we went to Japan, and they're adding new AI elements. And I said, well, how are people going to know? He says, well, a lot of this is back end stuff, and it'll improve the SEO and the performance and the processing of leads and everything. And I went, wow, so to silently make advances and improve upon what you do without this fanfare, that's dedication. Right? My studio, we know AI is a big buzz. I've been working in Amplify and working in, developing some of my AI agents and growing a knowledge base. We're learning that it's no longer 5 minutes, to return somebody's call. It needs to be instantaneous. And the only way you can possibly do that is with AI agents, right? So what is the difference between AI and automation? Very simple. You opt into my website, it triggers. So within 30 seconds, I send you, hey, how you doing? And then I give you the schedule. Then I give you the trial offer. And all that's timed out. That's an automation. I want to move more into a realm where I'm actually engaging with you conversationally in real time. You can only do that with an AI agent. And they've really advanced a lot. So leaning into that to help turn leads into prospects and prospects into trials and trials into students. I believe it's going to be a very valuable component, especially for you single owner operators that only have so many hours in a day. So again, the advancement with my studio, I'm leaning into hard. And then Kids Love Life Skills. You need character development. Come on now, right? Nobody goes to a soccer coach to say, teach my kid focus and discipline. They come into your school and demand it. And with a proven system like Kids Love Life Skills, I believe you'll best position yourself to accomplish that. Cool. And then LC Accounting. My sister is a great bookkeeper. She's taken care of me for years. She's tough. She's a black belt. So be ready for her to take you to school. And Kin Creative, what they've done for many school owners at this point over the past couple of years in growing their schools is phenomenal. I just got off a call with Noah Seidel, who went from 68 to 200 students, right? That's powerful stuff. That's powerful. So digital media is here to stay. I think it's a big part of what we do, and it's something you should definitely look into. Cool. What's up, Bob Poole, going with martial arts? As you come aboard, say hello. Tell me who you are and where you're tuning in from. What's coming up, man? Just a couple weeks away. I'm getting excited. I think 17 days, somewhere in there. Maybe not even that, 14 days. It's Time Life Freedom right here in Millbury, California, 5 minutes from SFO. We still have some spots. 1 day, 2 day, or 4 days. Go to brandonbeliso.com. Marco will post it right here. You want to save on the 4-day experience? Enter FREEDOM in the discount code and save yourself a couple $100. There's nothing like it in our industry. Somebody said it's a retreat. It is a retreat. It's a retreat into yourself, getting unstuck, learning the things you need to run a successful small martial arts school, and of course, personal development, wealth building. There's just so many amazing elements that go on. Plus, we eat really good. We eat really good, and when I think about it, it's not 2 days in Vegas, glitz and glam, and a bunch of social media posts. It is a cohesive message. It's a story that I put together and tell with the right storytellers from the time you arrive to the time you leave that gives you the real skill set you need to move your school from where it is today to the level of freedom that you truly deserve. Cool. And then my It's Time group mentoring, you know, I was posting testimonials and I see Ralph Hodel, right, from 64 to 234 students. Noah, again, another one, Samar Shur, from 168 to 501 students doing $1.1 million a year. I'm a mentor. My team and I, we mentor you. We're not consultants. Consultants, you give a specific problem, they solve it. Mentors, they're with you for the long haul. And me and Samar are still friends today. We still, she asked me different things in relationship to her business. When you build a relationship of trust and you have somebody to go to give you the right answers to help you make the right choices is powerful. Right? It's jumping from bookkeeper to mentor to law to lawyer, just changing things constantly. There's never that trust earned and built. You can only do that with a mentor over time. So think about our Instagram group mentoring, especially with 2026 coming up. If you've been stuck, you really want to grow, now's the time to do it. All right. So what is today all about? I've said it in different variations, but this variation today I think is really, really important. We knew since, once the pandemic's ended, we've had an onslaught of martial arts schools opening. Now, as I shared last week, and I'll break down those numbers, there's roughly 15 million people training in the martial arts. There's roughly 35 to 46,000 entities, whether it's online teaching, some guy posting TikTok videos, whatever it takes to have a landing page, right? There's something like that, but there's only 10,000 to 14,000 actual registered tax-paying full-time martial arts businesses. Now, with that said, there's only a small percentage. I think 20% of the industry is making like 90% of the wealth. Because I think what's happening, there's no real definitive separation between you and Joe Karate down the street. And thus is the reason why I always ask you that question. Why do I want to come to you versus Joe Karate down the street? So that's the first thing I want you to write down and I want you to think about through this whole podcast today. Is why do I want to come to you versus Joe Karate down the street? Now, we all say the same thing fundamentally. We're a family environment, quality instruction, life skills. We're safe, those different things. But do you say it in such a unique way that you create an emotional connection with that prospect, the parent, the child? Do you do that where your school is the only school they choose to want to go to? That's it. And that's just the first step. How do you keep them, right? How do you keep them after that? So when I use the term cookie cutter, I'm going to be very passionate about that, right? My prime example is if there's 10 pizza parlors in the neighborhood and they all simply say pizza on them. Well, I know they serve pizza, but what differentiates? Well, you tell me. What's the difference between Little Caesars, Papa John's, Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut, Round Table? What's the difference between those? Mod Pizza, take your pick. Take your pick. Well, fundamentally, it's pizza. But the story they tell, the experience they create that makes each one unique and different is what generates a loyal following. There are certain people that will only eat Domino's. There's only certain people that will only eat Little Caesar, right? And it's really tapping into your market and understanding your market. But again, if you haven't defined why they should come to you versus Joe Karate down the street, you've missed the boat. None of that will happen because I, as a consumer, what do I base my buying decision on? If I don't know anything different between you and the other martial arts school, one is convenience. So who's closer to me, right? Because there's nothing compelling. I don't feel in this state of emotion where I'm willing to drive an extra mile to get to you in particular. And I prided myself on that one time. We had a girl who moved away that was 45 minutes away. Yet her family would drive every Saturday to see us. Every Saturday. Well, I was very humbled by that, right? That's how much value they found in what we did. So I think that's why you need to spend a lot of time. And again, leaning into big companies like Disney and Apple and Nike and the ones that I name consistently, they're huge on the why. There's nothing cookie cutter about an Apple iPhone or an iPad. The iPad and iPhone were originals, right? In their industry of tablets and cell phones. They were the original at what they did. Same thing here. I mean, look at burger places, right? What's the newest thing now? Shake Shack, I believe. Is it Shake Shack? Here on the West Coast, we have In-N-Out Burger, right? And an In-N-Out Burger is it's crazy, right? All they do is burgers, but they're one of the most popular growing fast food when it comes to burgers, right? What is their niche? It looks like an old school diner. They got the red and white pinstripes and all that going on. They cut the potatoes right in front of you. The meat is fresh, and they don't do chicken or fish or anything. They just do burgers. That's it. That's it. So again, when we talk about this, what is your niche? Think about it and put it in the comments. I'd love to break it down and help you define that even deeper, right? Tell me what makes you unique. What makes your brand unique? What would inspire, if you're kid centric, what would inspire mom with a 6-year-old kid to want to come to you versus Joe Karate down the street? Because that's all it is. And in part of our discussion with my group call today was I want to make sure that the experience I create is creating a relational connection to you. I'm not trying to prove anything. And that's what I think is the big challenge we're facing today when somebody walks through the door. And I'm going to actually work diligently to take the word trial out of everything we do. I want to change it to the old school introductory offer. It's an intro, right? We're introducing ourselves to one another. The thing about proving, which goes synonymous with a trial, and when you think about when somebody's on trial in a court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty. You're always trying to prove yourself, proving guilt, proving innocence, proving to give validity or discrediting who you are, right? So if I want a guilty verdict, I have to discredit you. If I want a not guilty verdict, then I need to prove you right. So it's the same thing here. And I've even done it at times during my intro when I was trying to figure out who I was. I was giving people way too much information because I was trying to prove to them everything about us in a 30-minute intro, soundbite of why they should choose us. And we're so much better than everybody else. So think of a first date, right? And this is important because I found a lot of these insecure behaviors I exhibited and even wrote as systems and gave to my team were because we didn't know who we were or why, right? That why. So when somebody comes through that door, I want to be ever mindful in today's world of technology that I have enough information about them and they have enough information about me, right? We do that through the texting and the email all the way up until the actual intro. So think about that story, but you can't write that story if you're not willing to get away from the cookie cutter mold because everything I experience, again, working with Kin Creative as a client, as well as working on the team, I realize the most sold methods of marketing are really sales based. And they're meant to prove why you are the solution to their pain points. Okay, so stay with me. Hey, James, brother James, long time, sir. Resilient Martial Arts. I was looking at a picture of you the other day, James, from its time, and you look like so stoic. We were out hiking somewhere, and you just had your hat on, your sun hat. You're just very stoic, sir. I'll have to send that to you. I hope everything's going great out there in the great Rocky Mountains. So, and the reason I believe people don't spend time getting away from cookie cutter is because we're in a state of fear. I got to get 10 new students. Boom, you pop up in my news feed. I got 10,000 students with this advertising. I got these many students. And so you're in this state of fear and you're in a little bit of desperation. So you leaning your resources, your time, your effort, your money all goes into digital marketing. Now, don't get me wrong. I do it, but I'm very precise. More and more, the precision behind what I do in communicating my story is becoming more and more refined. I don't hop on the latest trend or any of those things. I go deeper on what it is we're currently doing. Okay? Now, what is mine? Live your best life. Nothing new. Oprah said it, a couple people have said it, but for me at a heart level, at a purpose level, this resonated deeply. And we needed one because one martial arts by itself did not communicate that. But one is the highest acronym for excellence. Number one, right? So that part was cookie cutter, but I knew it made sense for me on other levels that weren't cookie cutter, right? We're all equal. We're all one people. So culturally, I knew it had legs. All right. I knew it had legs. And think who we have. We have Gold's martial arts, right? Why do I want to bring my kid to you? Because we're going to teach them to achieve goals. Oh, great. My kid's going to be very successful in their life. Great, right? Resilient martial arts, a school that I worked with and helped brand, right? We're going to teach your child to be resilient. In today's challenging world, resilience is needed more than ever. See, that's different than just saying to a mom coming through the door, we teach focus and discipline. We're a family environment, right? But having that, Brent, I can say what's unique about our family environment is that we understand, the greatest families in history are the families that are resilient, the families that stick together, the families that see it through. Wow, that's cool, right, James? So again, we do want to talk about family, right? So if a family wants to live their best life with us, it needs respect. It needs responsibility. It needs empathy. Empathy was our life skill this week. And I was asking the kids that, how can you be empathetic towards your parents at home? We can do what we're told to do right away. Better yet, do it without having to be told. Don't fight with my siblings. Help around the house. Say please and thank you to my parents. And the parents are just beaming. Well, guess what? You're living your best life if you do all those things at home. See where I'm going with that? So I'm saying when you have a brand like Resilient or Focus or Goals, it's easy to cultivate stories to separate you from the cookie cutter noise, right? Now, I understand. This is the one that really, really gets me a lot. Is I know in a lot of the malls, you're not allowed to put a stylized logo. All they give you is font. So most people will put the word martial arts. Okay, great. Whether you're Taekwondo, BJJ, Shotokan, it makes no difference. You put the word martial arts on the outside of your building. That worked really, really well if I'm a pizza parlor and I need a slice of pizza at 1 a.m. In today's world where things are evolving and going to, with social media and texting and all the different things that are out there, it's a much, much, much different world, right? So I would really rather lean into putting my logo up there more than anything. And I would, push hard. I did it at both locations. And we have a stylized logo that communicates this is one martial arts. Your logo's not your brand, but it communicates that this is part of your story, part of your brand. So I'm very mindful of that. It took some jumping through hoops too, because they just want to know this is our rule here, blah, blah, blah. Well, tell that to Starbucks. It says Starbucks up there in a stylized logo. Well, how come you're telling me I've got to just use this standard font and say martial arts? I don't dig it. There's not a single brand, a great brand, Costco, Apple, take your pick, that's in any type of multi-use commercial mall or strip mall where they're going to demand Apple use some weird font that just says Apple on it. No way, right? So again, I'm adamant about that because we're trying to get away from being cookie cutter. Okay. So one of my questions at the beginning of the conversation was at this podcast is what is something you're doing that's cookie cutter right now that you would want to change? Name one thing you're doing right now that's cookie cutter that you want to change, but may not know how. And I'm going to help you through that. Okay. And while we'll do that, we'll take a small commercial break. All right, so see this cool bag? Every one of these bags were done by my wife. This is what we give away for our trunk or treats. This bag's got to be worth maybe $2-3, I would say, and we probably do 3,000 of them. Wow, that's a lot. So I spent about $5,000 in candy. But again, we talk about Disney. My wife balances every one of these bags. So each one's got a chocolate M&Ms, a peanut M&Ms. It's even got, everything's in it. But again, what we have in here to take care of the part of promoting the school, it says Halloween. It would be really cool to meet you. So we invite you to try a class. Okay. And on the back is a little QR code. You scan that QR code right there, and it takes you to sign up for a trial class. So we cover that base. But again, I think what's super, super powerful about this is just the whole Disney experience. When kids walk up to our booth and we give them this whole bag, it blows their minds. They're just like, whoa. And we are the talk of every trunk or treat. So this year we're doing 3 of them. And I'm going to share this. And I do want some comments. Put them in there. What are you doing, cookie cutter, you want to change? We're doing 3 elementary schools. And each elementary school has roughly 200 of these. So we'll give out 600 of these between 3 elementary schools. Now, today, 2 of them are back to back. And I have a cotton candy machine at a high school, right? At the same time. So I have one team at Spring Valley, 2 moms who I got to volunteer to help us do that. They'll pass out candy there, but it's pre-framed by you get to break a board. We have one at Meadows with same thing. I have 2 of my black belts coming in. They'll handle that one. And I'll go to Mills and do the cotton candy. There you go. I mean, we do what we got to do, but it's always the extra mile. Going the extra mile is the huge, huge difference. So we can give this out, nuts and candy. And what's somebody with allergies going to say about one martial arts? Put it in the comments. Nuts in here, lots of nuts. What are they going to say about one martial arts? A mom whose kid comes up, is in awe, wants this big bag of candy with nuts in it, and they can't eat it. Tell me, is that a huge miss? I know you guys think I'm nuts. Somebody help me out. Marco, anybody, put it in there. Tell me. I've got this beautiful bag. What do you think mom's going to do with my one free class card? Probably hang it up and throw darts at it, huh? Because her kid is so disappointed. They can't have this big bag of candy. We had to put all the nuts in it. I know I'm messing with you guys, but this is where my wife is brilliant. And this is where I learned so much about the way our basic avatar, a mom, thinks. Okay? A mom thinks. Help me out. Okay. I know. You're looking at me. Brannon, you're freaking nuts. Is this all you do with your life? Yeah, because I only teach 1 day a week. So all I'm doing is mining data. All I'm doing is going down at a micro level of how you can perform and do better. So here we go. Nut free. Now, these don't have little bags wrapped up in it because there's not enough different kinds of candy to go in it. But look, nut free. And now, stay with me. Blue. You probably said, why isn't this a orange pumpkin? What's wrong with you, Brannon? I learned that the universal language for nut-free is blue. So every thoughtful company, business, mom, people giving out Halloween candy will have the blue one that signifies to a parent it's nut-free. You guys think I'm nuts? Come on, somebody respond to this. Am I alone? Am I alone in my thinking? Am I? Am I alone? Right? But nut free. So now that says, hey, we got this, but we also got you, right? We got you covered, mom. We got you. We got you nut free. And there you go. And I mean, that's how you separate yourself from cookie cutter. Everybody at these trunk or treats today are given candy by the elementary schools. All they're asked is please decorate your car. Okay? That's what they're asked. We think you're nut free. Great. I'm glad you think I'm nut free. A lot of people think I'm crazy. I'm crazy in my thinking. They go like, wow, man, I just want to teach martial arts. Well, I want to live my best life. So again, these types of explorations and these types of processes that we go through are super important. I could have just gave these bags of candy to the different schools and let them pass it out. Achieve the goal. It's got the one free class in it. That was my goal, to generate leads. No, no, no. You're not going to live your best life unless you walk up to our booth, you break a board, you experience firsthand who we are, right? And you get this bag of candy. Dun, 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 dun. And so that's how we separate ourselves. Because again, everybody will have a different cool looking trunk decorated today, but kids are there to get candy. That's what it's about. And when you create this, this separates you from the bunch. Is this extra work? Yes. All the running around we're doing today, is it extra work? Yes. But my commitment is not to working harder or not working harder. My commitment is to fulfilling our purpose of live your best life. Take a deep breath and stay with me, right? And I told that to our mentoring group today. I said, that's why we continue to be relevant. We continue to do well financially and do well as a business, because we're constantly evolving. We're constantly investing. We're constantly making the changes needed to be relevant and stand out from the noise. Not by intention, because living my best life is living my best life, right? So it's important that the thinking that helps me feel whole and fulfills my purpose-driven mindset, I feed every day. And today will be a huge challenge running around, and there's a bunch of things logistically that people would look at and go, why are you doing that? Because it's necessary to live our best life. Okay? And that's it. So again, some of the standard things, and I'm going to dive into that now, that I hear people say is, we have the best instructors. Okay? So the better question is, why? Why do you believe you have the best instructors? Okay. Well, we can say things like, we are lifetime martial artists. Collectively, we have 150 years of martial arts training and teaching experience that we serve to you. Hey, okay. That's a little different, right? At least the numbers and everything are mine, right? When Stephen Reinstein said to us, when people were saying, don't put an about page, nobody gives a crap. All they want to know is what's in it for me. It's a sales-based landing page. And then Stephen said, well, no, the about us page, if they choose to look at it, it's just more ammunition to give them a reason why they should want to do, business with you versus anybody else. So we went about that about page, and it's still a work in progress. My about page sucks. I still need to work on it so much, because I want every profile that a person put is unique and special to them, but also resonates and backs up the culture of live your best life. Okay? So it's a work in progress. Reviews set you apart. We all have reviews. No, but you look for the reviews that are there that speak unique to your culture. And if you're doing your job, if you're doing the right thing, folks, guess what? Everything people write about you will somehow, some way resonate the culture of what you do. When I was doing my research, as I'm putting together my different presentations for It's Time, they no longer use the word referral. The new, more holistic word is advocate. Okay, write that down. They advocate for you. Wow, that's not just referring, they're an advocate. They're an advocate of what you do, of your brand, of your culture, of your school. Why? Because they believe. A referral means they liked it. They had a good experience. An advocate is somebody who will consistently, again and again and again, go out there and refer your business. That's powerful. That's powerful. So one of the exercises I encourage all of you to do is go through your website, Go through your Google business, go through your social media, all of it. And anything that is generic, anything that is cookie cutter, trim it away, get rid of the fat. Because through that simple exercise alone, you'll find out where the holes are in your story. Now, why do I say that? Because you're using these generic, regurgitated, cookie cutter posts and memes and whatever, right? Whatever's trending, all of a sudden you're doing it in your school, right? Like the ice bucket challenge when that was up. Every martial arts school owner did an ice bucket challenge. Nothing to do with their brand. At one point, it had significance, right? It was ALS. But then it became this trendy thing that served nothing other than to get you views and likes on social media. So if it doesn't pertain to your brand and your why, whether it's resilient, whether it's goals, whether it's focus, take it out. Take it out. Because you're plugging them in there because you haven't written the chapter of that story and you need something to fill it. And you and I agree, there's no value to filler. It's filler, right? There's no value to that. There's no emotional connection. I don't want to go out there and advocate for you. So when you use things that are filler because you're too lazy or you simply don't know what to do with cultivating a why, then I'm going to challenge you on that. Okay? So as you begin to strip away and look at the different things, what's filler? Hey, why is this here? Oh, wow. I had nothing better to say that day and I needed a post. Don't post that day. Don't post that day, right? Because everything you do matters. Each grain of sand can become, a full beach, right? But they all matter. One grain of sand doesn't make a beach. Fill it with a bunch of plastic pellets, it's still not a beach, right? You need high quality grade A sand. It's the same thing here. Now, I know you think this is crazy, but in my readings, I love to read. When I read this book, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, that's one of them. I mean, there's just so many. I'm just always very inquisitive because I want to know why. Why does a brand like Apple, continue to do what it does? The new iPhone 17 isn't rocket science. It's not that much better than the iPhone 16 when the day's done, yet it's selling off the shelf. The sales are good. Why? Why? Because they tell a story so compelling consistently, tell a story so compelling that they continue. Their stock's at an all-time high today or something, or it has been in the past couple of days. And I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated. Some of it's very calculated. Some of it's just being in the right place at the right time. Some of it's just good luck. It's just good luck, right? But the belief system is very clear. I recently did a post, and I'm going to share this because this is important. Every semiconductor tech company uses the coolest font, the coolest language, AI, 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 AI. NVIDIA, they introduced the guy from NVIDIA who's just kicking butt in technology right now. And they said, what's your plans? What's your plans? He goes, I have no plans. I know you don't want to hear that, but I don't wear a watch, and I don't wear a watch either. So I found a kinship with I don't wear a watch. He doesn't wear a watch because he's here right now. He says that's what we do. That's how we create some of our best stuff. We're all together in the moment, in real time, doing what we do. I find that extremely fascinating, because I preach about that all the time. If I want to teach a better class, I need to be present in that class. I can't be thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner later when I'm teaching a class, right? When I'm standing in front of a new student coming through the door, trying to serve them, in the back of the mind, I'm thinking, wow, did I remember to turn off the heater at home? Those types of things will not allow you to be fully present in the moment. And if you're fully present in the moment, guess what? You serve people better. Now, I know you don't want to hear that. Just give me 10, absolute ways to get 10 new students. So what? I can get you 100. But again, if you suffer from the cookie cutter mindset, right, of simply falling in line, doing what everybody else does, you'll never get to that level. You'll never get to that level that you want because there's nothing special about what you're doing. Or even worse, there's something very special about what you're doing, but you're communicating it through cookie cutter systems, cookie cutter marketing, cookie cutter conversations from phone scripts and sales scripts that you've adopted that have nothing to do with your belief system, but somebody told you in your highest state of fear, this will sell. This will get you more students. Anybody feel me on this? Put it in the comments. Do you feel me on this? Go ahead. Who's going to run out and get a blue bucket? Who's going to run out and get the nut-free, allergy-free bucket? I always wondered why my wife had these blue buckets, and I just learned that today. Did you really? How come we got blue buckets? Right? I just thought it was, being a cool, different color. Come on now. While you're thinking about that, put your answers in the comments. Another cookie cutter mentality I see a lot in our industry because we don't know who we are or why we do what we do. We look for distractions because it's easier than finding validity through homework and research and reading things like Shoe Dog or Steve Jobs or Disney, taking a Disney business course to discover the value of a why and how it really impacts a brand and how it creates raving fans that believe in what you do, right? It's so much easier just to go out there and buy someone's hyped up program because they told you it's going to get you 35 new students. That's actually taking you further away from your why than anything. Now, I know I'm shooting myself in the foot. I'm the creator of Kids Love Life Skills, right? A very strong life skills system that I highly recommend to everybody. But again, if it's every program that's new and shiny that you see at a seminar, I see it all the time, and people adapt that stuff, right? And all it does is separate you even further, and it dilutes your brand. Because I walk into your school and I see Win Martial Arts, but over here is, Joey's Kangaroo Kids, and over here is, acrobatic, incredible martial arts, and then it convolutes your brand. It's not a food court. You're not a food court. You're a high-end restaurant, 5-star, 3 Michelin rated. That's who you need to be if you want to get away from cookie cutter. You with me? So be mindful of that. I've worked with other programs. At one point I had Little Ninjas. At one point I had Hyper. At one point I had I Love Kickboxing. And it almost destroyed my culture. You know why? We had a very strong kickboxing program from the days of Taibo. And then we morphed it, evolved it, but I got complacent. I didn't reinvent. You're always reinventing yourself, going deeper on what you do through that reinvention, but still staying within my wheelhouse. We had this great kickboxing program, and we were losing people left and right because it was all sales script driven, all of this stuff. And my culture was looking at me going, that's not us. What are you doing here? Right? Because I got money hungry and it was supposed to get me 1,000 new students. Chalk that up. Don't do that one again. So that's why I'm very passionate about telling people, if you're going to add a program to what you do, it better fit your why. That's what that story is all. I'm trying to make the point because I get it. We're all looking for new and shiny, new and shiny, new and shiny. I get it. But if it doesn't fit your why and your brand, then guess what? You will never believe in it enough to go the distance, to implement it, to see it through good days and bad days, and grow that program organically. Why? Because you're in a state of fear and you want instant gratification. So when this new program you're picking up doesn't produce for you right away because it never was in line with your brand or your why, you're going to abandon it. Everybody's got at least one story like that. I know I do. So that's another thing that puts you in that cookie cutter. You hop on the trend is gone, and then there you are, still with no why, right? Looking for the next trend, looking for the next hype. So be very mindful of that if you choose to adopt a program, that it must fit your why. Cool? What does Mark have to say there? Your why isn't cookie cutter, so nothing else you can do can be. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. And again, you know, it's not earth shattering, right? In and Out Burger is still a burger. Burger King's a burger. McDonald's a burger. Five Guys is a burger. Now we have Super Duper, is here, is a burger. One of the old school ones, Nations on the West Coast. They're all burgers when the day's done. But it's how each one tells a story differently, a slight twist, a slight turn, right? Shake Shack, there's nobody there at the counter. You go in and order on an iPad and they do a smash burger. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. When the day's done, it's still a burger, but it's the experience they create. And at that time, when Shake Shack came out, it really appealed to the techie kid. They liked walking in and just like their phone or any other device they use for gaming or whatever, they could walk in and it was very familiar to them to get on an iPad and order their food. Now, if you look everywhere, there's kiosks everywhere. Am I right? There is a kiosk everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a kiosk, right? QR codes were dead. Now they got revived in the pandemic. I don't know how many restaurants I walk into and scan the QR code on the table, order food through my iPhone, and then pay for it that way too. It's a trip. It's a trip, right? It's a trip. So, again, for me, understanding why is super important. Super important in that process. Cool. Another thing I find very cookie cutter mentality is sales scripts, any of that type of stuff. And you see it standard. If you walk into that type of school, the cookie cutter school, it's probably roughly 2,000, 2,300 square feet. There's an office between the main floor and the front door. That is cookie cutter. Standard, very standard of some of the big franchises and chains. Because the proximity of the office, you do not get off this mat without going into that office. So I can close you, right? The new disruptive version, myself, people like Tule, Encourage Martial Arts in my studio, we have no offices. We have no program director. We have no front desks. I don't have a front desk people 1 or 2 days at each location just for FaceTime. But the majority of the time, we have no front desk. We definitely have no program director. Everything's done through that app because it's very acceptable. Very acceptable. I fly in United. I have the app and I use it to check my flight, upgrade my seats, change things, different things. It's all done through an app. It's very acceptable. And for those people, cookie cutter mindset, oh no, it's bad customer service. Well, you do it every day, don't you? If you want to get to New York, you're going to get online, book that flight without ever talking to a person. There you go. So it allows you to truly serve better on the mat. But again, if you don't have a why, you're going to lean into any script, any warm up, anything that's out there, just because I had watched one guy. I said, why do you do your warm up like this? Well, at YouTube, it had millions of views. And I was pretty perplexed. That has no why. That is nothing other than I'm too lazy to think about this or educate myself to get the working knowledge to create a dynamic workout that's age specific, skill level specific, and is in line with what they're about to learn in class. Okay. To support that. Sure. Right. Sure. So again, be mindful of that. And I can't tell you the world that's open for us when we're very clear about that why. We function within a set of parameters that allows, like Mark's saying there, what else you do can be, right? It's the same thing here. When we often butt heads, I'll ask, okay, well, we can't agree. Let's agree upon what in this action or system or process or what we're about to do helps fulfill our brand promise of living your best life. And then that kind of narrows it, puts guardrails. So we function because there's only so many things you can do in a given day. Am I correct? Okay. So anything you do should fulfill your why. Mine is live your best life. Simple. Okay. Okay. So what are you getting out of today as we start winding this thing down? What are your big takeaways today? Give me something, James. Give me something, Bob. Give me something. And if you're here, say hello to us, please. Let us know that you're here. I love it because when I hear people say, I've been following you for years, I'm like, well, why didn't you say hi? Right? People aren't conditioned to do that. You can't say hi to most people when you watch a YouTube video or anything like that. But I just love knowing who I'm hanging out with. Come on now. All right. Another thing I find that really hurts your brand, hurts your why, is what you're told about retail. Okay? But I get it, right? The big martial arts vendors. David Diaz. What's up, David? I look forward to seeing you at It's Time, David. It's going to be a lot of fun, sir. I got a hug for you. I hope you don't mind, man. He's coming down from Auburn, and we've had a couple of conversations, and he's going to come out to It's Time for a day. Ralph from Switzerland. My brother, Ralph. I was thinking about Ralph because I posted his testimonial the other day. And, the part of your testimonial, Ralph, where you said, I lost my job as an auto mechanic. I remember those times, and I remember our conversations walking around your old location and discovering your brand of excellent martial arts and looking at the logo and looking at the wall between the two dress rooms going, what do we do here? Remember your little waiting area with all those chairs and everything? And we just think, wow, well, why is it like this? And to look at your school today, you had to do some before and after your old waiting area, your now waiting area. I mean, Ralph is doing his curriculum videos now. Right? It's not unthinkable when you have a great brand like Excellent Martial Arts. You understand you need good curriculum. And Ralph's worked so hard on developing his curriculum. My God, he's implemented Kids Love Life Skills. He's just, and now curriculum videos. Is it by coincidence Ralph is doing curriculum videos right now and we've just redone, our whole 4 years of curriculum videos? No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I understand, number one, knowing my purpose, live your best life, right? That what it takes to fulfill that. And I'm dedicated to that. And it's a place to function from, that's super powerful. So thank you, Ralph. I appreciate you. Most of the big martial arts vendors are also consultants. And it's fine if it works for you. Some people are extremely successful. So I only say this as an observation, not as a critical opinion, and that it's wrong to do. Okay? But here's my take. I am not a retail store. Okay? I'm an environment of higher learning. So we have a very small, calculated pro shop with our t-shirts and hoodies and, sparring gear, and that's it. Culturally, I'm not living my best life if every belt I'm nickel and diming you with, okay, now you're this belt, you must buy nunchucks. Now you're at this belt level, you got to get this special uniform. Now you're at this next best level, I'll upgrade you into this program. That's not us. That's not what we do. We don't believe we're fulfilling our brand promise of living your best life if we behave that way. That's why we have no belt testing fees. That's why we have no built-in retail sales. And people will say that you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I say no. You're stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. We charge $259 a month for twice a week. And I know that's on the higher end, but what you see is what you get. So again, if I don't know my brand, I'm not very clear on my purpose, guess what? I'm trying to prove to you because I'm filled with doubt and insecurity. So I'm trying to prove to you, you should be part of the school. You do it in your trial class. You do it in every class they come to. So it leaves you in a very defensive posture. Again, going back to the word trial and proving yourself, innocent until proven guilty, you're on the defensive. I see that all the time. When you're responding to a bad review, when somebody doesn't sign up, when a student quits, you get so distraught and it requires so much of your energy, to just get through the day. Who's ever had those days? I know it because I've talked to some of you. I've talked you off that fence when a parent's upset or you get a bad review or somebody quits. right? But again, if I know my purpose, I know my why, not without, I'm not talking with ego and narrow, narcissistic, insecure behavior. I'm talking about genuinely. I know I've served you to the best of my abilities, and I wish you well, right? When you respond to that bad review, if you genuinely know at a heart level that you fulfilled your purpose and it simply wasn't a good fit, so be it. So be it. What's Ralph saying there, sir? Let's see what Ralph's adding in on the bottom. Without you, it would have never been possible. You're more than my hero. You saved my life. You saved my, what's that say? You saved my family. Ralph, you're brilliant with or without me. You are brilliant, sir. You're brilliant because you do the work every day, Ralph. You do the work. And that's 3/4 of it. And I think you're my hero because I often feel very saddened when I have enough vision to know this would really help them. But unfortunately, it's not whether I believe or not. You got to believe. You're the one who's got to execute. And you've done that brilliantly, Ralph. He's at 234, something like that today. That's so cool. I mean, that's cool. Him and his family go on vacations and he's going to Las Vegas for Christmas. It's just freaking cool. It's just the coolest freaking thing. You know, I mean, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that, sir. And that's it. Because the cookie cutter mentality is a place for me of deep insecurity. It's kind of like what my kids are going through right now, right? My son, me and my wife cannot stand his haircut. We hate his haircut, but he wants to fit in. He wants to, be like everybody else because to stand up and be an individual means you have a flash, you have a spotlight on you. So people can criticize you, people can ridicule you, people can put you down or chastise you, shun you. You're an outcast. You're no longer part of the herd, right? But again, herd mentality feeds into the cookie cutter mentality, right? Right? But the yin to the yang of that, I want you to be extremely mindful of, is we're all famous in our own minds. So the double-edged sword there, the catch-22, is in your purpose, we become self-righteous and mighty and so insecure because people are challenging us that we're that guy with 75 students that say we convert all our trials. My attrition rate is 0, right? But you've had 75 students, the same number since year 3, and you're in year 25, and you still have 75 students, give or take. Now, unless that's your version of success, then I would have to challenge you on that, to rethink that, right? That maybe your purpose is actually disguised as deep insecurity and a fixed mindset. And that's often where cookie cutter comes from. Like Conrad of Respect Martial Arts calls it analysis paralysis. You're so limited by your own thinking that cookie cutter is the only thing to get you through the day. Cookie cutter mentality pays the rent. Cookie cutter mentality keeps the doors open, but it never get you to that level. I mean, Ralph, come on. And this isn't to be out of line. Ralph was an auto mechanic. He became a full-on entrepreneur. That's a huge mindset shift. That's huge from a guy working task-driven auto mechanic, right? To this creative entrepreneur. Wow. That's a huge mindset shift. But once Ralph discovered his purpose of excellence, it just was like his fuel. It's his inertia. When he sends me pictures, look at this wall I just did. Look at this I've developed. Look at my new lesson plan. I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with you, Ralph. I cannot keep up with you some days, but he gets it. And that's why he's from 60 some odd students to 234, right? That part, if you understand to build a great company, you have to build every part of it. It's much like probably building a car, right, Ralph? It's not just in the old days, the carburetor. It's not just the radiator. It's not just a cylinder. It might be 6 or 8 cylinders. It's not just a gas tank. It's not just a steering wheel. It's not just an air conditioning system. It's not just a bumper on the front and back for safety. It's all of it that's maintained and taken care of that makes a fine-tuned automobile. So I think you borrowed that from your work, Ralph. I think you did. So I want you guys to think about today, please. Really, really think about that today. Because for me, it's invaluable. And for me, it's something that we don't pay any mind to because we don't know what to do. So we're not inspired to take action on anything less than a cookie cutter mentality. And when it doesn't succeed, what can we conveniently do? Blame the person you took the advice for. Blame the consultant. Blame the association that you're with. No, it was a mistake waiting to happen because you simply didn't know. And that's okay. That's totally okay. It's totally okay. Cool? All right. So let's begin to wrap this up, Marco, by thanking our sponsors. Who do we have? My Studio, Market Muscles, Tucson, Kids of Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All companies I work with, all people I have deep respect for, all people I would go to bat for, all people I would tell you need to do business with. They impact my business, they impact my life, and they're all good people. There's not a single person that own these companies, work with these companies that I don't believe in. Cool? It's Time Life Freedom is coming up. 1 day, 2 days, 4 days. There's still some spots open. You can get a discount if you enter Freedom on the 4-day experience. Get signed up. It'll change your life. If you can spend 4 days with us, it'll blow you away. Ask Ralph. Ask James. Right? Ask Marco. Ask everybody who's here today. All right, it's time group mentoring again. I'm proud of the team. I can't do it alone. We want to reach more people. They're active school learners just like you and me. And I believe that what we do can really impact your business. Cool? All right. You can find me. Where can they find me, Marco? Everywhere and anywhere. My podcast is on all the major podcast platforms. Listen to the shows. I've had people build their whole businesses without ever paying me a penny, without ever hiring me, simply studying and taking the right information from all the different podcasts, from all the things I post at social media. And you know what? If that works for you, I'm grateful to be part of that. I'm grateful to serve you in that way. Right? I'm so grateful. Follow me at Instagram. Follow me at Facebook. Join our Disruptor group or our group mentoring. We have a couple real strong group pages that I encourage you to be part of. We post things like in the files and things that can really help impact your business. Cool. All right. I am Brannon Beliso. I hope you guys are doing lots of trunk or treats, lots of community events. This is one of the most kid-centric holidays here in the United States. Leverage it to serve your community, and the byproduct will be you might get some people to come through that door. Cool? All right. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, please, you go out there, live your best life.